Joyful culture was an important phenomenon in Europe in the late Middle Ages and in the early modern period. It was a system of comic expressions, representations and objects that consolidated communities. That included theater plays, joyful songs and many other kinds of playful events. Spectators were invited to immerse themselves in a parallel, festive world. Joyful culture was built on the participation of various social groups and individuals in the festivities.
Everyone was encouraged to join in, as an organizer, as a financer, as an actor or as a spectator. This way, these festive events had a highly inclusive character. They were designed to give the people a sense of belonging to a community.
This system of joyful culture was present at all times, not just during Carnival, but during festive events throughout the year. The comic character of many of the plays, songs and texts performed suggests that sociability was reinforced by inciting laughter. At the same time, the latest research reveals that the festive atmosphere also enabled people to engage in more serious discussions. One of the recurring themes in joyful culture is the battle of the sexes, in which men and women fight to gain power over each other. We commonly find such representations of a world turned upside down in engravings and paintings. A wife is beating her husband. A woman is riding on a man's back. A group of women is fighting after having taken off a man's trousers.
Trousers or breeches were a typically male garment, and therefore they were a symbol of male authority. So when women are fighting for the trousers, this actually means that they are challenging this male authority and that they are striving for equality. And this theme runs like a common thread through the medieval and early modern joyful culture. It's very present in joyful events and also in the texts that were produced.
In urban festivals, performances often commented on relationships between men and women and on authority in a marriage. In Laon, in Picardy, throughout the 15th and the 16th century, a joyful king of the breeches was elected every year, and he organized a parade on the street, and fake coins representing the trousers were thrown out to spectators. We haven't kept the texts of the plays that were performed in Laon, but we have other examples. In Lyon, for instance, in 1566, a parade was organized by the Joyful Company of the Printers. It featured carts on which actors were representing women beating men with kitchenware. The parade was actually mocking weak men who had had troubles with their wives in several neighborhoods of Lyon in the previous month. That's what we call a charivari. But it was also a way of getting spectators to reflect on harmony in wedlock and not just show them violence at home. In this way, these plays were funny, but there were also a serious message addressed to the whole community that came to watch them.
Similar ideas were expressed in song, like in the songbook Plusieurs belles chansons nouvelles or Many Beautiful New Songs. This book was reprinted at least 3 times in the early 16th century. Here we find a song that is directed to women who wander about town, beating their husbands. What is noteworthy here, though, is the first-person narrator. That's the one who talks or sings in this song. She is female, and she also openly supports women who beat their husbands. So, by singing this song, women could express this viewpoint without actually having to take responsibility for it. This female narrator begs the other women never to beat her husband because she loves him dearly. So, this way she actually appears to be in an equal marriage. But it turns out that she likes him so much only because he does all household duties like cooking and cleaning. By this upside-down representation of matrimonial ideals, the song prompts us to rethink our concepts of domestic balance. In this way, it enabled women and men to venture mutual criticism and at the same time to establish a social order.
Other performative texts also use the theme of the battle of the sexes to highlight discussions around marriage. This broadsheet, which was printed around 1600 in Nuremberg, is a joyful ordinance. And here we see masculus ver, which is Latin for the masculine man. He was the archetype of what was considered to be the male man. And this authority discusses how husbands should treat their wives. And the image on top of the broadsheet suggests that men are encouraged to take the authority over women. We see women fall at the feet of men, they do the dirty chores, or they are even imprisoned by men. But another broadsheet, also printed in Germany, shows the precise opposite. It shows women beating men and forcing them to fall at their feet. The texts of both broadsheets, however, contradict this battle of the sexes and plea for an equal, respectful marriage. And the printers of these broadsheets probably used the images of the battle of the sexes to attract the buyer's attention, because these images were very well known and they sold well.
Relations between men and women is but one aspect of the joyful culture, alongside other themes such as sexuality, drunkenness, or folly. The Joyful Culture Research Project at Utrecht University has studied its products to understand its role in late medieval and early modern society.
It's precisely through playfulness that joyful culture reflected on social issues. Its light tone had actually a very serious goal: to create a community of laughter in times of conflict. And if only temporarily, differences could be erased and issues could be dealt with peacefully and joyfully.